Hello, good Friday evening, everyone, and welcome to May edition of Freedom Friday. I am Sarita Price, your host, and welcome you. I always get excited about Freedom Friday, and lately I've had some great guests, and I have a great guest tonight. And so, how we roll on Freedom Friday, I always say we have conversation with candor. So, tonight is another great edition of Freedom Friday, and I have a spectacular guest tonight. But what I want to do is, I normally kind of give a little snippet of why I do Freedom Friday, and I call it Conversation with Candor. So basically, what I focus on, and I'm gonna make sure that we are live here. Um, yeah, we are good. So I don't know why this is not showing up. Let's go back here. Okay. So what I try to do is just give you a little background on Freedom Friday and what I'm doing. So the purpose of these lives, and I call them purpose of these social media lives, is to really I'm having a conversation with what I call candor, with frankness and openness, and I really focus on how soft skills, um, methods, and practices are the solution to the problems and really the challenges. And four of the seven of what they call spheres of influence. And some of you guys are familiar with them. Some of them may be called spheres of influence. Sometimes they're called the seven mountains of culture. So really making you aware of the four that I focus on are business, faith, family, and education. And so most of the time that is really the focus on these. But tonight, and some other times, we may focus on some of the other seven mountains of the other four or three. So, what are soft skills? Let's talk about this because our topic tonight, we're talking about the importance of soft skills development for entrepreneurs. And if you remember, soft skills are those transferable skills that they don't really have to have acquired knowledge. In other words, soft skills are people skills, right? So going to the next slide, these are some examples. I'm always going to put these up here so you know what soft skills are. These are creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. These are just a list of the soft skills that I'm actually going to talk about, that we're going to either touch on through here. So now that you know that, let me go back here. I am going to go back and I'm going to introduce you to our special guest tonight, and I'm going to read her bio first. So she's operated a freelance bookkeeping service since 1996, which provides general bookkeeping and payroll service to small businesses. In 2008, she founded the home-based business chamber of commerce and also to the Entrepreneur Training Institute in 2018. She's a small business consultant, a mentor, and speaker. She volunteers as a small business mentor and a board members with SCORE, serving those clients who are interested in starting a business or developing a nonprofit organization. She served 10 years as an adjunct professor at National College of Business, where she taught in the English and business departments. She holds a bachelor's degree in English secondary education with a minor in office administration, a master's degree in organization management with an emphasis in human resource management. She shares a blended family with her husband, Jerome, her 5 children, and her grandchildren. And also, too, she is my Sora. She is a member, I'm going to go ahead and add her in, of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So I am so happy to have my soror, my mentor, and She is my friend as well as my guest tonight, Miss Beverly Anderson. Hey, Beverly, welcome.
Hey, Sarita.
Yes, I'm so happy that you had to have you as my guest tonight. Listen, Beverly is awesome. She has been a mentor as a business owner. She's given me a lot of good advice of what to do, what not to do. Um, she's kind of taken me under my wing. So we've had some we have fun together too when we get together and and chat. So I'm glad to have her here tonight. And we're focusing on the importance of soft skill development for entrepreneurs. So I've read, and by the way, guys, that bio she sent me, that ain't half what Beverly got a lot more on her bio. She sent me the abbreviated one.
I did.
Yeah, uh-huh. So, all right, Beverly, just talk to us. Tell us a little bit. And I've read your bio, and tell us a little about your. She does a little everything. Your freelance. She's been bookkeeping. She is an entrepreneur institute. Just kind of tell us about, you know, a little bit more about you.
All right, good. Well, again, hey, Sarita, I'm so excited, actually to be here with you and for this project that you've done. I'm always glad to see entrepreneurs doing things, handling the business. But of course, I started this journey. I guess I grew up in an entrepreneur family as well, and
Mm-hmm.
we kind of teach each other. My family is literally preachers and teachers. Dusted with the military, so but so that's where we came from. But this entrepreneur journey started for me. My granddaddy always taught us to always have you a skill and an education. Don't rely on just your education, but
Mm-hmm.
have you a skill as well. And so that's really kind of where I am. That's why my passion is to work with people who are just looking to do it. And Daddy also taught me, now you don't mix business with BS. I know there's a family show, so I'm not going to say a word, but that's what, that's what he taught me to do. And so when I talk to business owners, or even when I started, it was just that, you do it or you don't. You can, that's almost like I'm a little pregnant. No, you is or you ain't. So you have, start it, do it, but it takes a lot of motivation. It
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of that your own gut and your own will to do it. I'm not sure that's what you all asked me for, Sarita, but that's
No, no, no. That's really true. I guess the question, and you really got into it. I want you, like, take us on your journey as as being an entrepreneur. Did it start off with bookkeeping? Was that your first business?
oh no. Again, I took seriously about what Daddy said. Really get you an education, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
and a skill, which I had, and I honed those skills. And really, I started, Sarita, as a typing service.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I started typing service a
I
little
think I
over
remember that.
20 years ago. I could always type. I still do love to type. I was typing 65, 70, 75 words a minute, even on those typewriters where you pick like that.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and that's how I started. And what I did was, and I wanted to do something. I knew I always had that spirit. So I started as a typing service for college students. When I started, I uh, took an ad out in every college newspaper in Memphis.
Oh,
And
wow.
I took out an ad and say, this is what I do. I'll type for you. And I promise you, in less than a week, those students had me busy. And at that time, I was charging maybe $10 for 5 pages and probably like 25, 50 cents for any additional pages.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you always had that little thing in your ear. Nobody wanted to do that. They can type for themselves. Da 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 da. But I realized, see, I was working with college students. Some of them were working, didn't have time to type. This is when, I don't know if your audience or even you remember when the writing style changed from MLA to APA. I was
Mm-hmm.
familiar with APA. A lot of the students didn't. So that's how my journey started. Now, what I began to do, though, I always worked, you know, um, but I always believe in going on a job, not just for the job. I'm going on the job to get something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And my grandmother said, you be on one job looking for another job. And so my jobs allowed me, fortunately, I didn't have the coworker stuff. So I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with how people work with coworkers, but
Mm-hmm.
I was on a job, and part of my job was grant management, and bookkeeping, and that's where I learned QuickBooks. And it was so funny. I had been working there for a while and had gotten to know QuickBooks, and my director allowed me to use the software and play with it, what have you. Somebody walked in the office and said, "Do you do that for other people?" I said, "Sure." I really didn't, you know. I wasn't doing it for nobody but the folk I've been working for. I like, sure I do. Say, okay, because was starting a small community church,
Mm-hmm.
and never since, and that again, that's been years ago. I mean, probably like 04, 03, something like that. And this year is the first time I've ever even advertised my bookkeeping service. It just kept
Wow.
going and growing because that niche that I was working for, that I was looking for, which is this micro business owners, small business owners, small nonprofits or community churches, people who had less than $500,000 in revenue. They didn't have maybe 5 or 6 or less employees. And that's what I did. And so I allowed it, I took what I was learning on the job
Mm-hmm.
and made it a business. And eventually, with that particular job, I resigned the job as their employee and went right back the next day and said, "But now what I will do, I'll take you on as a client." And it was like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I already know the job. I'm saying to myself, I'm using your stuff anyway. So might as well use it for you." So that became also my pitch, though, Sarita, was because as I moved forward into my business, into
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, the key was tell people how my work, how or outsourcing to me benefits them. So the thing was, they didn't have to pay any payroll taxes for me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to provide any supplies or resources for me because then I had my own stuff. That you don't have to provide me a space to work. Although my other employers didn't know I was working for folk, but anyway, so that was the pitch. And so we have to have a pitch. I had to let my customers know how does taking me on as an outsourced bookkeeper help them. And so that was my journey. And here I am now, 20 plus years later, still doing what I love.
And you know what? And this is a great segment to move in, but I got to say this because this is hilarious. So tell people, you started off in your home, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is just hilarious to me because she said, you know, and it's one of the important things too as an entrepreneur. I'm in my office. This is my home. I work in my home as well. And I think a lot of times we are so busy to want to get a building and you don't have any clients.
Yeah. And what you
And I
gonna
just
do with
your
that?
story. So here's her story is she said you started, was it upstairs in the room upstairs?
Yeah.
Then she moved, then she just
Yeah.
started getting bigger. She moved and turned with your living room, your dining
I
room
turned my
area.
dining room into my office. I'm like, there's no law to say I need a dining room in the house. So,
And then the third thing now, she probably should have been in an actual building. The shed, what you said, the shed?
shed, the former man cave,
Yeah, the former man cave
became my office.
became her office. So she was busting at the seams. But the thing is, but she was finally blessed. Was it last year or earlier this year when you moved?
Yeah, September of last year.
Yeah.
September of 2021.
Yeah. And so, it's just like this really funny because, and I'm probably going to be the same way. I'm going to have to go kicking and screaming into a building because, as an entrepreneur, that's one of the things you have to think about that. You got overhead, you have rent, you have to pay, you have utilities. Depending on what type of business, you have insurance, you have to pay all these things. So you have to make sure that you have enough revenue coming in to make a living as well as to pay for your business expenses. And, and it shouldn't come out your personal money. So, this kind of moves us in the topic when I was talking about soft skills. So, Beverly, I guess the question I want to ask you is, do you feel that soft skills are necessary for entrepreneurs?
Oh, definitely. And I think, you know what, I think we have to realize though, although we're entrepreneurs, small business owners, we're also consumers. We're
Hmm.
also customers. And the worst thing you can do as a customer is to ignore your customers.
Exactly.
Because, for instance, and I remember this, and I tell this story sometimes. I went into a store. I think it was a store, an office or something. I went in there and I just stood there. Of course, you're taught when you walk into a place, you speak or what have you. And then, hello. And the
Mm,
person behind the desk act like I wasn't even there. And I just stood,
mm.
she looked at me, I looked at her. We didn't look. After a while, I just turned around and walked out because it's like, I am your customer. And so deal with my customers, and especially with the level of work that I do as a bookkeeper. I have access to all of their financial lives literally in my hands. And so I like for them to have access to me. I like for them to be able to get to me, either text me or call me, email me, because I'm giving them a service. I'm not giving them something and walk out the door with something in their hand. And
Mhm.
so with those soft skills that that you always talk about and that you mention, those simple things about, and we customer service is a new buzzword. What's good customer service? However, it really is. Do you service your customers well? One thing, do they trust you?
Exactly.
Okay. My clients have to trust me. And I think that's one of the hesitations for me bringing in people, either hiring staff or bringing in other contractors, is because my clients trust me.
Yeah.
Is it?
And you're mentioning, and I'm always, when people talk, I'm thinking about the soft skills. Three, you've always met. Customer service is one.
Mhm.
And another thing too, you said that trust, having great work ethics is another one.
Yeah.
As a small business owner, um, I think sometimes, Beverly, we forget that, yeah, people are the reason you are in business. You have to, be ethical with your practices in your business. You have to, give great custom service. And the third one is communication. You
Mhm.
have to know how to communicate not only with your customers, because with communication, there's two type of customers: your external customers who want to walk through the door, what have you, and then you have your internal customers. Those are your employees. So
Right.
you have to know, because know how to treat your employees as well as your, the customers that walk through the door.
And you mentioned, when you talk about work ethic, because especially if you're independent
Yeah.
and it's just you know, your ethics also, you have to be motivated,
Yes.
because one thing about it, again, I work from home and I have a TV in my office, always have, but I have to keep myself motivated, because especially when I was working at home, it was always a dish to wash, it was always something to put in the dryer, always some clothes to wash. And then sometimes it was always easy for me to go 2 or 3 steps and lay down in the bed. So but I had to maintain that level of ethics and motivation. And then I have to make sure what I do, I'm doing it for the right reason. And again, that ethics comes with trust. I
Yes.
work with folks' money. I
Yes.
can be in and out of their bank accounts at any time because I have access to it. I have access to anybody who they're hiring. I have also security numbers and I have bank account. I'm dealing with their money. And so they have to trust me. I have to be ethical. They can't, believe me, when y'all hear those stories about the accountant ran away with the money, most time folks gave the money away. They just didn't know it. So,
True.
and so, and we, and nickel and dime, and they're people to death. You hear about the woman who worked downtown and, like they look around, she got $300,000 house she was stole, you know, because one for you, two for me. You see what I mean? Two for you, one
Yeah.
for me. So you have the ethical thing really has to, has to hit home with entrepreneurs and small business owners, as well as doing what you say you're going to do.
Exactly. And that's one of the key things, which that kind of moves in the next question, next topic, as far as dealing with soft skills. Right now, I am working for a client, and what I do is I connect suppliers. We have over 2,000 suppliers, small business owners in our database. And I am like the connector. I connect them to what they call the people I work for. They have what they call anchors, which are it's in the medical district. So I basically connect small business owners to, these are like multi-million, they're nonprofit, but these are like, most of them they're medical hospitals.
Right.
And I have talked about this. Some of the things as entrepreneurs, we need to make sure that you are ready, that you can handle when you get these RFPs or these bids or whatever. Can you handle them? Can you handle them with integrity? Do you have the right people? Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? And, for the most part, what I've seen, yes, but then you do have some of those that are not quite prepared. And, everybody want to own the business, but when they really truly find out what it takes, it's all, me, I always talk about this. There's some steps you have to do: research, marketing, demographics. I always use an example. Everybody in Memphis want to open up a hot wing, a chicken shack. That's what I call it. But you want to put it in this location. You got 5 other chicken shacks on the same street. What's going to make your chicken any different from theirs?
And when you get through putting hot sauce on it and baking it, you're going to put hot sauce on it, call it hot wing. You're going to put hot sauce and some honey, it's call it honey hot. And then you're going to put some Parmesan chicken on it. Cheese on it, then call it Parmesan chicken. There's only so much you can do. Yeah. With that. And, to your point, are we ready? And I see that a lot. I've seen it a lot over my career as a business coach, as a mentor, even as a business instructor. And teach. And that's where the educational passion comes for me, because, again, we want to do a lot. That's why my niche are startups and businesses that have been in business 10 years or less, because those are turning points. First thing is going to determine, is this really what I want to do?
Exactly.
The next thing is going to determine, can I do it? Because I get the question all the time, well, when can I pay myself? I don't know. I don't know when you can pay you. When you done paid everybody else.
And that was one of my frustrations too, as a SCORE mentor, and even as a kind of mentor, I worked for the Tennessee Small Business Development Center, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what, that's what we did. We had people coming in, I would help them. First thing first, do you have a business plan? 9 times out of 10, no. I said, you need to do that before you get started. They got all these great ideas. I had to bring them in. We need a business plan. Now, as you know, Beverly, things are evolving. Most time business plans, they're good, at least 20 pages long, because basically it is your baseline. That's the foundation of your business, your business model.
I want them to get a 2-page plan. Don't talk about the 20-page plan. Can you even tell me what you do?
Yeah, that's true.
And of course, I'm always, because I've seen business plan, I'm gonna have pink floors, I'm gonna have this carpet over here, I'm gonna put this furniture over here, and I'm going through, where the money? Huh? Then it's like a deer in the headlights. Where's the money? If you're going into business, where's the money? And that's for profit or nonprofit, because people tend to think that nonprofits don't make money. Yes, they can, and they can make a whole lot of money. But I'm looking at your plan, and there is nothing. There's no budget. There's no even startup costs. There's nothing to tell me this is how much money I'm planning to make, or this is what I'm planning to spend. And again, when the rubber meets the road, are we really ready to do it?
And that's the thing. What my frustration was, and I don't know. I figured out maybe that's just not for me. I'm more of the educator, But if I give you a business plan template, I'm giving you all these resources. You claim you're so, want to be in business. I never hear from you again, because you can't even fill out a business plan. You, like you said, you can't even fill out the first 2 pages.
Yeah. You don't even tell what to do.
Yeah,
You
and one thing, and I try to explain to them, if you ever need a loan, and you know, because this is what you do. A financial institution, you got to have a plan. You have to have a business plan. That they're just not going to throw you money. You have to have your ducks in a row.
and again, that's my target. That's why,
Yeah,
because, and I'm glad when people finish with me and they say, you know what, this is not for me.
exactly. These are
I
honest.
appreciate that, because then it lets me know you're not going to waste a whole lot of time. You're not going to waste your time. You're not going to keep wasting my time. And then you won't get out there into something that you don't know what you're doing. Because I've had, oh yeah, I went and got me a business license, and then 2 months when they send you the statement to the return, well, I ain't made no money yet. Well, that ain't their problem, because you ain't make no money.
And
You gotta. So when you get a license, know what you're getting it for. Know
exactly.
what these structures are. And even going back to those soft skills. How do you even talk with other people? These agencies. You don't go up there, to the assessor office, you clowning, acting crazy, and want folks to talk right to you. You
Yeah.
know, or if you don't know what you're talking, get some talk to somebody who knows how to deal with these people, who deal on a daily basis, who can speak the
Exactly.
language. But again, there's a way also to work with anybody, to work with your customers, to work with your resources, to work with your partners or other contractors. So yeah, it's critical, but that's where my passion is, and that's what you can tell. That's why I get so excited sometimes about talking about it.
And look, I can tell. And that's one of the other things too. And this leads me to my the next part of this is, so now, and I'm going to say this because I've worked for two, here in Memphis, where they do mentoring and it's free, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I want people to understand, and Beverly, you and I have had these discussions. Truly, you need to invest in your education as far that, and that's why I love, your entrepreneurship training institute, that it's, and just talk about a little bit about that and what that entails.
Yeah, Entrepreneur Training Institute actually is kind of the education arm of the Home Based Business Chamber. I
Okay.
started the institute in 2018. It is a 501c3, but I started again we offer classes, and we're kind of close to our certification now with the state. We had to be in business for a couple of years to complete our certification with the state of Tennessee. And what that means for us is that we will be considered just like a vocational education school, just like a regular community college,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't offer degrees. The state considers them diplomas or certifications. And so when they finish the institute, when they complete the institute, they are certified and ready to at least have the basics of starting their own business or becoming an entrepreneur. And again, it is a tuition based. It's not free, because I believe, when people have a dog in the fight, then they'll stay in the fight. But if
Exactly.
everything is free, then they can take it or leave it. But my instructors, these are certified professionals. These are degree professionals. And for people to say, well, I'm taking, is it free? Is it free? It's not free. I'm telling you now, it's not free. But the institute again certifies in the areas of small business development, nonprofit development, personal income tax preparations, and we're adding a new class starting in July, uh, small business bookkeeping and incorporating QuickBooks. And so that's going to be another class that's added, because it's by demand. People, well, are you going to offer a bookkeeping class? So yeah, I've got an accountant who's on board. She's ready to teach that class. These classes are virtual. Most of them are virtual, but we may be doing a couple of them hybrid
Okay.
or in person. But that's what the Institute was developed to do, is to really give that education to people who are serious about it. They come out, they're certified, and I promise you, they have the basics of starting a business. Because you can go anywhere in the city and get some, and you can get this cookie cutter talk.
Exactly.
You know, it's cookie cutter. Wherever you go, they got the same schedule, the same thing. But nobody's telling you know what? You're going to have some days where you're going to say, I don't know what kind of heavy drugs I was on or what I was smoking, but I need to go and get a job. You know, you're going to have those days. You're going to have those times. Everybody's not going to pat you on the back. When you say, you know what, I'm finna start my business. Folks not finna run up to you, patting you on the back. You know, or the basics. Is this for you? Am I really here for this? And one thing about it, Sarita, if you ain't motivated by money, don't do it. And that's why I tell all of them, don't do it. Give your stuff away. Give your services or your products away. Because if money is not motivating you to stay in this fight, don't do it. And I don't care what folks say. I just want to help people. I just want to help people. I didn't get in the business for that. I get in the business to make money.
And you know, that's one of the things, because Beverly said that, because you know, she used to tell me the same thing. Because when you have a passion, you love what you do. But come 2020, that changed for me. Because my thing is now, I said no, I said fee, not free.
Right.
You know, and the thing is, we are here. True enough, you're still offering a service, because if you go somewhere else, you're still going to have to pay. Yeah. You know, and the one thing I can get my people to realize, you know, stop asking for hookups when you're doing business, especially with African American, Black owned business. Everybody I don't do that. I've never done that.
And don't ask me for one.
Exactly. Now, I've been in a situation, just depending on what it is, you know, if I am led, I may have discounted something rarely because I know the situation the person was in. And then they come back and they even may, you know, refer somebody to me. I get a new client through them because of what I did.
Correct.
But, you know, we have to change our mindset. And that's why I love, Beverly, what you're doing, because I'm going to be blowing social media up on, you know, about because a lot of people don't know we have an African American owned entrepreneurship, you know.
Yeah, an educational, it's an educational institution.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and again, and I even teach my children that, you know, my children are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and successful.
They have jobs. A couple of them have jobs. A couple of them don't. They work full time for themselves. But I taught them the same thing. I mean, the older one, I already even had to go through the class. He been through my class.
You made your own son go through the class. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And they know when they ask me for something, I'm making an investment.
Yeah.
I'm not giving. This is my investment, and I expect a good return. And what I mean, I expect them to do well.
Yeah.
With the investment that I have given them. And so again, that's what we do at the Institute. We teach, and that's what it's about. Teach it, you know, and people come, we had our graduation our inaugural graduation last November. It was great. I mean, they graduate with graduate hats and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's because it really is. And we want people to, one thing, to feel proud of their accomplishments. And so when we do that through the Institute, you know, that's what the Institute is all about. It's really just teaching you the basics. You can go anywhere and get all the fluff and, oh, this is the great. And it is eventually.
Okay. Do you have anything new coming down the pipeline, or, you know, when is the next, the most important question, when is the next session?
We will start the next session in the second week in July.
Okay.
We typically like to do it every quarter, but again, I am a bookkeeper and a tax professional, and so it was kind of difficult to do it through the tax season.
Yep.
But however, we do teach personal income tax preparation. So when the people come finish the Institute in that class, they are actually IRS certified.
Oh,
in addition to being certified by the Institute. Oh yeah, they're IRS certified. They know we've taught them how to get their P10s, get their credentials with the IRS. And they are ready to do taxes for pay, and they know how to do it. I promise you, the instructor is on them. She's an enrolled agent, with IRS. And so, and then teaching them how basics of small business development, again, nonprofit development, and glad to introduce this new bookkeeping and QuickBooks class. But yeah, it starts at the second week in July. And if I may get it, the website.
Yeah, this was good. This is my next thing. So Beverly, if people want to connect with you, social media, website, how do they do that?
Sure. They contact our website is myetinstitute.org.
Okay.
myetinstitute.org.
Actually, I'm gonna post this once this live in. I'm gonna post it on social media.
Thank you.
So they can see it and everything. Because I think, like you said, and we're getting ready to wrap up, but the big investment, the back before the pandemic in 2020, I hired a coach.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't cheap. She was out of Boston. I spent $3,000, $3,000.
And you was not gonna walk away from that $3,000.
No, ma'am. But you know what? I learned so much. Mm-hmm. And that's when my business, the trajectory of my business changed. Everything that we've talked about, and just really, because when 2020, right before the pandemic, I quit my job. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always been, an instructor, and I taught college. So I was dependent on the income because I was at what we used to call JOB job. We call it the Journey of the Broke. Mm-hmm. With Mary Kay. And, I was just stressed out. Had a crazy supervisor. My blood pressure was 174 over 100. And, I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's just entrepreneurship is kind of like he's always been in my blood, because my dad had a 6th grade education, but he had a trade. He worked at Western Mental Health in the maintenance department, but he was a plumber, licensed plumber.
Exactly. And the thing about it, what this pandemic did, it forced folk to come out and do stuff.
Yes.
Because, they're losing jobs, but after you lose your job, you still want to eat. So you want to do something, so do it. I mean, and that's my thing. And I think everybody still should have some type of self-employment income.
Yeah.
Because one thing about it, I don't care if you work for the government, you work for education, you are not going to own them people's stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is, the thing is, when I coach people, I try to tell them, get your groove on, your main thing, what you're going to do. But I believe in multiple streams of income. You can take that one thing that you do and still do the same thing, but you're doing it in different areas. Like I tell you, graphic design, I didn't know anything. I just always designed content for classes and training classes I developed. That's another stream of income.
And reinventing yourself. Like, I love this platform, Sarita.
Oh yeah, it's just I love it. And the reason I did this, to get over my fear of being on the camera. Seriously, that's the reason I did this. But when you find out you have a niche and you have a message, to the point that this topic we're talking about tonight, that is actually my dissertation topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's critical.
Yeah, I mean, soft skills are critical. So, really, you got to find, I always think about, you said at the beginning, I think your grandfather told you, if you can't find a job, make one.
Make you one.
Yeah.
And he meant that thing. If you can't find a job, make you one. Because again, your education is great. It will take you some places, that you may not have gone without one. But I promise you, when that education is through, and your stomach meets your backbone, you need a skill. You need something to do, something that can make you some money. And you always take the thing, my grandma said, I know we wrap it up. My grandma told me, she said, Beverly, God didn't send you make a mouth that he didn't make a biscuit to fit it. He sent your living with you.
Yeah.
It's just up to us. That's why we get on these jobs, and we hate the job. We hate the folk. We hate what the job is. Because we don't tap into what's already there.
Exactly. I always say, everything is an inside job.
Yeah. It's there.
Once I find out what my niche really was, like I said, you're my soulmate, you're one of my mentors, and then I have other mentors.
Mhm.
In the, most of my clients are not in Memphis.
Yeah.
They're all over the United States, because you have to be able to, we talk about communication skills, network and talk to different people, find your niche. Because my thing is, I always believe in, and I always say this in one of my customer service classes, you got to find your happy place.
Yep.
It's a wonderful thing that I can get up in the morning and set my schedule and how I need it around what, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm not stressed out. As a matter of fact, I'm probably healthier now than I have been in a long time.
I know that's right.
I'm not stressed, and the thing is, just a quick thing about entrepreneurship. The one thing I'm going to say this now, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to be mindful of your health as well, because you don't have sick days. You don't work. You don't get paid. So, being more health conscious about, getting up and going exercise, whatever you need to do, you need to take care of yourself, because you don't work, you get sick, unless you got some money stacked, stored back, or you may have a spouse or whatever, that you just depend on individual. But anyway, I always say entrepreneurship is a wonderful thing, but it's not for everybody.
Yep. And you're exactly right. It's great. I mean, it's rewarding. It really is rewarding. You work hard. Definitions of entrepreneur is they rather work 16 hours for themselves than 8 hours for somebody else.
There you go.
Yes. And we do. We work
Yeah.
from sun up to sundown. But I promise you, at the end of the day, it's wonderful. But again, it's not for everybody.
Exactly.
It's not for the faint at heart.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Beverly, give us one more time. You said the class starts in July.
Right. The classes start the second week of July. I think it's the week of July 11th.
Okay.
They can register again at the website at www.myeti, because that's what it's, myetinstitute.org. Again, you can register and pay right there. And also, if you have questions, you can contact us. Just click the contact us, and it comes directly to my email.
And I'm gonna say this: whoever's listening to this, these classes are not expensive. They're economical, and if put it like this, grown folk do what grown folk want to do. And these classes and the amount, the professionals that you will be working with, I promise you. Like I said, Beverly don't know it. I'm gonna start blowing the institute up on social media, because I think Memphis needs to know about this.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I do too, and not just because it's mine, it's because of where we are.
Yeah.
Where we are. As a people, where we are financially, where we are socially. We just need to know, and we need to know how to do business and do business properly.
Yeah.
And be able to compete.
Exactly. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up on the go back. So Beverly, thank you so much for coming on. If you want to keep in touch with me, FSP Enterprises, let's keep in touch. This is all my information, my email address, all things Sarita, Linktree. I will be coming soon with an actual website, but Linktree, pretty much you can connect with me on all my social media platforms. And this is my mailing address at here as well. Next month, we have another special guest for Freedom Friday. You don't want to miss that. And this is this quote I always put at the end by Dr. Vicki Johnson. She says, soft skills get you through hard times. Thank you for joining us tonight. Beverly, thank you again.
My pleasure.
And I will see you guys next month. And also too, I'm going to place Beverly's information so you can register for these classes. Okay, you got a whole month to get your coins together and register for these classes because they're excellent classes. All right, guys, we'll see you next month. Have a great weekend. Also have an awesome and a safe Memorial Day weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.